Hello, and today we're going to do a little experiment on dry aging beef at home. More specifically, we're going to do a little bit of a product review on this brand of dry bags, 55 Grad. Now, these come from Germany. I know over in America the UMai bags are very popular, and I think over in the UK where I am there's a company called Wield and they do a very similar thing. But we're going to give this a try. What we have here is a T-bone end of beef, and what we're going to dry age is this striploin, New York strip over in America, or sirloin steaks over here. And we're going to try 21 days at home and see how we get on. Now, there's two real reasons for dry aging beef. The first is that you evaporate a lot of the moisture that's in the beef. You can see there's quite a bit of moisture in this beef here, and the dry aging process removes a lot of this moisture. And the reason that we aim to do that is it's going to give us a higher concentration of beefy flavour in our steak, and it's going to break down the muscle fibres. And the second reason, of course, is that the enzymes in this beef naturally break down these muscle fibres, and that's going to give us a more tender, succulent steak. So the idea behind these dry bags is that these are moisture and oxygen permeable. So in effect what happens is the bag forms a seal with the meat, and it allows oxygen and moisture to permeate through the bag. Now it's going to form a bond with the meat, and that's going to give us some protection against the beef going off, giving it a sour, acrid taste, and it's going to stop it being contaminated. So one thing to bear in mind is you will need some method of vacuum sealing your bags. So you'll need a vacuum packing machine of some kind or access to one. Another thing to bear in mind is these bags are quite expensive. I know these are imported from Germany. I'm over in the UK. I've got 5 bags here and they worked out at £25, so £5 a pop. And the other thing is that's going to add to the expenses, that we're going to lose a lot of total product weight as it dries out. We lose that moisture from there, so we could lose up to 20% of the total weight of the steak that we dry age. So without further ado, I'm going to, of course, take the bones out of this. The fillet steak I'm not going to dry age, we're just going to concentrate on this strip loin. So if you'd like to fast forward to the results, feel free to do so. If not, I'll do a little time lapse of preparing this for the dry aging process. Okay, so you can see that I've just prepared that strip loin, and it's a beautiful looking piece of meat. I always like to take off some of this back strap. Some people might think that I've wasted product there, but I think it gives you a much nicer steak. Now, of course, it goes without saying, ordinarily I would trim all of this nasty looking stuff off. The reason that I haven't is we're going to lose product in the dry aging process. A lot of this is going to turn into a waxy sort of film, so we're going to lose this product anyway. So if I'd trimmed it and then had to trim it again, my thinking was that it was going to cause us to lose more product than if we didn't trim it in the first place. So that's why I've left that on. But you can see it's going to make some nice strip loin steaks. So dry bags. Now it's worth noting that I've got large, and a piece of meat this size really, it doesn't take a large bag. But if you were doing a full strip loin, it's going to be more than double the size of this. Of course, I've just taken the T-bone end here. So if you were doing a full strip loin, you probably would need these large bags. Now, just roll the bag open, just like so. Place the meat right in the back corner. Roll that back out. And remember, we want a good seal on the meat, make sure it's all well covered. And with the bags you get these assist when you come to seal the bag in the vacuum sealer. This gives you a double strength seal. So I don't actually have a personal home vacuum packing machine, so I'm going to use the industrial one that I've got at work. So I'm going to do that now, and if you're still watching, you'll see this piece of meat in 3 weeks time, so 21 days, and we will review how we got on with it. One last point before we dry age this: temperature control is critical when you're dry aging beef. You really do need to keep this as cold as you can. A refrigerator that you're going to use every couple of hours isn't really going to be suitable for dry aging your beef. So if you have a second fridge that you don't use quite as often, use that and try and keep the temperature as low as you possibly can. Set it on the thermostat, turn it right the way down. And another important thing is you need airflow around the beef. So if you've got a wire rack that you might use to cool cakes or scones on, place that on the wire rack so the air can get all around the product. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Keep the temperature low and keep the air flowing around it. So we'll see you in 3 weeks. My friends, what a difference 3 weeks makes. Look at the colour of that. I hope the camera is picking up how good this looks. It's gone a rich, deep ruby red. You can see how good those steaks are going to be once we've trimmed it all up. Now it's worth noting that we've lost about 25% of the weight of the product during the dry aging process, but we'll find out if it's all worth it once we've got this trimmed up, and we'll fry some steaks off. So I'll trim this up off camera and then we'll cut some steaks and you can see how good the meat looks inside. Well, we've got that steak all trimmed up, and how good does that look? That's with the waxy film on, and that's once we've removed it. Look at that lovely deep red. We've skimmed a little bit of the fat off the top. We've taken that waxy layer off all the way around, and we'll cut some nice thick steaks, maybe 1.5 inches thick. Man, how good do they look? Look how dry they are. The smell is incredible. Now, I've only just taken these out of the chiller, so we need to let these come up to room temperature before we fry them off. For a strip loin steak like this, I like to cook it medium to rare. So a steak this thick, maybe 2 minutes aside, give it 10 minutes to rest, but we'll give that a couple of hours just to sit out and get up to temperature. We'll cover them up and we'll show you the finished results once they're fried off, but they do look mighty fine. Well, what can I say about that steak? It was fantastic. I have had a lot of steaks in my time, but I can't remember in recent times having one quite as good as that. 3 weeks ago, when I first began the dry aging process, I honestly didn't think it would be worth it. The effort and the time and the anticipation, I didn't think it would be worth it. But after just enjoying that meal, I can honestly say, hand on my heart, it really, really was. So if you're looking for an honest review, a recommendation, I can give it to you 100%. If you'd like to try this for a special occasion, please give it a go. Like I said earlier in the video, these 55 Grad dry bags are very similar to the UMai products over in America, and there's a company in the UK called Wheeled Packaging. They'll be very similar to these bags. I'll leave a little link in the comments below to the Amazon link for these bags if you'd like to give them a go yourself. Hand on my heart, I can recommend them 100%. As for freezing the dry aged steaks, I personally wouldn't recommend it. I think if you're going to do this, do it for a special occasion. Pick a nice piece of meat, plan it well in advance, and use it fresh. Other than that, what more can I say? It was a beautiful product, and 100% I will use these again. They've got the ribeye here. I think we're coming up to barbecue season over in the UK. I think in the next couple of weeks I'll get some ribeyes put away in these dry bags, and hopefully we'll get those on the grill and enjoy them. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.